because that thing didn't do its job. It's all in Igor's logs.
But it's still alive.
Alright, here we are again with Death Stranding Part 2 and why I was wrong. Look at this, just fell in my ass. This is after about 15 minutes of walking, and this game just does these surprising things to you, like, oh my god, I gotta walk all this distance, and then the camera slowly moves out, plays this lovely song, Bones by Low Roar, and then you're just, by pulling out, it sucks you in and you really get to take in this vista that's in front of you. You know, Hideo Kojima is really doing something special here. And I hear this a lot. I've posted a couple of videos on Death Stranding, and you know, it's like with Avatar, they're like, it's just Pocahontas, and it's like with this game, it's like, it's just a walking simulator, dude. Well, yeah, you're walking, but it couldn't just be that. Like, he obviously, and when I say Kojima obviously has something in his mind that he's trying to do. And granted, I have no fucking clue. I have no clue what is going on in the story. It's starting to unravel a little bit. I mean, the cutscenes go on for a really long time. That's not my favorite part of the game. My favorite part of the game is when it finally just lets you go. And it does these surprising things. I mean, yes, you're walking, but he's building something, right? It's like by the end of the game, which I'm assuming is massive. I mean, they're alluding to how I'm going to be going all the way from the East Coast of the United States to the West Coast. So this is going to be quite a journey here. Like, I'm thinking about it, I'm like, I'm on the East Coast. I've only been playing for a few hours. I imagine this is going to be at least a 60-hour game, so it's like you actually go on a real journey here, and it's all going to be, I mean, I feel like the majority of it is going to be on foot. So just as a game experience and looking back on something, it's going to be pretty incredible. I mean, obviously, not everything is gelling with me. So far, I would say, yeah, I'm not a fan of the long cutscenes. I don't really, it's just not that interesting. Some are cool, some that set things, but there's a lot of there's a lot of dialogue to go through. But even that said, it's hard for me not to recommend someone try this experience because it's so unique. I'm really kind of having a ball with it. And why was I wrong? Well, the reason I'm wrong is because I literally had no intention of playing this game in my life. I have tried to play Metal Gear games. I played Metal Gear Solid 2 and Metal Gear Solid 1 back in the day. I never beat them. You know, I was 10 years old. I don't know. I got as far as I could, dude. I was busy playing Resident Evil or something. Thankfully, Epic Games decided to put this on their store for free on Christmas, because I would have never downloaded this game. I mean, something about them making a Death Stranding 2 makes me curious about the game, and I feel like maybe I would play 2, but this game was so mixed when it came out. I mean, you would hear real Kojima purists, being sort of scratching their heads on this game, liking some parts, hating other parts, loving certain, and I can kind of see all that just in my brief stint with the game. But even so, I'm still gonna keep playing, and I'm only gonna do, I can only handle a couple hours at a time, and because sometimes it's cutscene or whatever, but it's like you do one mission, maybe you do 2 missions. I did a couple last night, and then it's set up a mission to connect. Basically, you're trying to connect the United States, like put them online. So there was like a few bases to hit. And I was like, okay, I'll save that for another night. And it's like, there is something nice about a game like that, a game that is very expansive and large, and I'm sure you could, sit there and play all day. I don't necessarily, it just doesn't feel like that kind of game for me. I mean, look at the pace, look at the way this guy's walking. It's not a sprint. It doesn't feel like a game to me that it's a grind that I need to sort of rush through. Like, I'm fine. And this is like rare in games. Like, I feel like every game, you get hooked into it, like an Elden Ring or a Demon Souls, these games where it's like you just want to keep plowing through and you just put hours and hours and hours every day just to like make these moves through the game and to get to the end. But something about this game, like the pace, the way it's set up for me, it's like I can get a lot out of it in just a couple hours and put it down and be satisfied. And it's kind of like a movie in that way. I mean, obviously Kojima has a lot of cinematic influences. I mean, he's practically a filmmaker if he wasn't a game developer. I mean, he obviously wants to tell stories on like a large scale. There's also an aspect of the game where, well, it's freaky as hell. I mean, look at this section here with the black goo, the inky goo. It looks like oil. I mean, it's genuinely frightening and scary because it comes out of nowhere. You're just trying to make it through this space and do your mission, and then these things are happening that you have no clue what to do. I mean, you're not set up with, an arsenal. This game doesn't give you weapons, at least at this stage, to fight with. So the only thing that you can do is traverse through the environment and try to escape. And I can definitely see why people would call it a masterpiece, is because of the way he sort of slowly gives you elements, and you can tell it's really going to build over. And it's probably one of the slowest burn games I've ever played. How many games do you play where you're walking through a world and enemies are grabbing you and pulling you and tugging you, and you really don't have any recourse but to run essentially. I mean, there's not a lot of games like that, especially AAA big budget games. I mean, I'm trying to think of the equivalent movie, where a studio gave a filmmaker $100 million to make kind of an art piece. I mean, it'd be like sort of like if David Lynch made a video game in some respects. So the story is strange. I can't really make sense of it. It's a little more linear than that, but I mean, it's kind of remarkable that this is a big budget studio game. I mean, without the cutscenes, it'd probably save a lot, and it'd probably be more of an indie game. I mean, it definitely feels like one in a lot of respects. But that's all I got for this video. I'm gonna keep making more as I go through. I hope you guys enjoy. I hope people make it through more of the video than the last one. I'm trying to keep the public informed. But until next time, I'll see ya. Take care, everyone.
You're a part of me, and I'm a part of you. Yes, you're a part of me.